So I want to talk about my gaming journey, on how I pretty much came to uh, essentially running into the arms of Sony and PlayStation. So I currently am gaming on a PlayStation 5. I bought the digital edition for the PlayStation 5, and I have to say I'm loving every moment of it. I'm really loving just the simplicity of console gaming again. Pretty much the first console that I remember playing is the Nintendo 64. And I played the heck out of that console. I played GoldenEye. What's another game? Oh, Zelda, Ocarina of Time. And we played Mario Kart on the Nintendo 64 as well. I went from the Nintendo 64 to the PlayStation 2. I mostly played sports games, to be honest. I never really got into shooters or anything like that. Outside of GoldenEye, I used to play with my cousins. We got a PS2. I'm not playing a lot of shooters. Main games I'm playing on the PS2 is sports games like a Madden, NBA Live. It was all about sports games for me. I had an OG Xbox. Fast forward to the Xbox 360. Now, the 360 came out, if I remember correctly, 1 year before the PlayStation 3, or almost a year, what have you. The 360 was my freaking console. I loved that console. I was in high school at the time, and I'll never forget, for my birthday, got me Gears of War. Never played a shooter. And I keep repeating that because I just want to say, like, how kind of monumental Gears of War was for me, the first Gears of War, because that shifted my mindset of like, oh, well, I'm not just playing sports games anymore. I'm going to play a shooter. That game was unbelievable. Hands down, one of the best games I'd ever played. Even to this day, Gears of War has such a hold on me. The story was excellent. The multiplayer was amazing. It was awesome. Played the heck out of the 360. I remember I had NBA 2K5. That game looked unbelievable on the Xbox 360. A couple months later or something, I started getting these red rings. Called Microsoft. Microsoft was like, oh, we've never heard of this before. You know, the runaround, essentially. I remember getting off the phone and thinking, this company is going to try to charge me $110 to fix this console that is still under warranty because they're trying to tell me that I did something wrong to it. So I didn't play video games for several months. PS3 comes out. I'm like, all right, I'm going to try to get a PS3. I actually ended up sitting down with my dad, and my dad was like, I'm not buying you a PlayStation 3. I had very little money, and the PS3 when it came out was like $600 or something, and please forgive me if I'm incorrect, but I'm 99% sure it was $600. And so I was like, all right, well, let me just call Microsoft. Let me see if I can, try to get this thing fixed, because I had a job, and it allowed me to save up some money so I could, call Microsoft and get my Xbox fixed. And so I called Microsoft. Microsoft is like, yep, actually, this is a mistake on our end. Now, mind you, this is a couple months later from the original time I called. And they're like, yeah, no problem. Like, we'll send you a box. You can ship it to us. We'll fix it for you. We'll rectify, the situation. I get an Xbox. It took about 2 weeks for me to get a box, send them my old Xbox, and then for them to send it back to me all fixed. It worked. Continue playing my video games, enjoy my life. Literally within the month, red rings again. Fast forward to 6 times. 6 times I had to get a new Xbox. It was horrible. Finally, I was like, F this, I'm done. I'm buying a PS3. I went to GameStop. I got a used PS3. I bought a ton of games. I played the heck out of those games. One of the games on the PlayStation 3 that I really enjoyed playing was Infamous. That game was awesome, and I really, really, really liked it. Remember when I told you earlier about Gears of War? Gears of War had a little bit of a hold on me. So after about a couple years and playing some of those PlayStation exclusives, I went back to Microsoft. I missed out on playing Halo 3. I missed out on playing Gears 2 and 3 and Judgment. So I went back and I played these games with my buddy. Next thing you know, the Xbox One's about to come out. So the PS4 came out either a week or two before the Xbox One. So I actually stood in line to go get a PS4. So I got the PS4. The graphics looked unbelievable. So I went from having a PS3 to having an Xbox 360 again. then to having, and this, when I got the Xbox 360 the second time, essentially after the first 6 times of the red rings, the next time I got it, I actually got the redesign of the 360. It was all black, and they said it fixed all the cooling and all that stuff. So, and I never got a red ring on it, to Xbox's credit. To Microsoft's credit, I never got a red ring. I went from the 360 to a PS4. I had the PS4 for probably about 2-3 weeks. It was very hard to get, by the way. I stood in line pretty much all night to go get it. I was with my brother and a coworker of mine named Will. We stood in line to get it in the Sony store. I showed it to my buddy. He played, I believe it was NBA 2K13. That game looked breathtaking on the PS4. I kind of got convinced to go and get an Xbox again, so I actually ended up selling my PS4, and I went to go get an Xbox One. Now, that was my mistake. The Xbox One, if you all know how that debacle and the unveiling of the Xbox One, the infamous bungle that Microsoft did, they basically pushed a console that nobody gave a crap about because they themselves didn't care for it as a console. They were essentially pushing a home entertainment center, and I have to say that home entertainment center was not well received by the community. I mean, all the gaming community can pretty much agree that nobody cares about their Xbox being a DVR. They want good games and they want a good console experience. Well, Microsoft didn't seem to care. And there is a very, very famous video, essentially somebody asking, I believe his name is Don Matrick, the gaming journalist, asked him, so what do you say about people who want to play games without necessarily being able to check in with the internet? Because that was Microsoft's big push. You can't just play a game. You can't just pop in a game. It has to check online with the internet. So you can't share games with your friends, can't do any of this stuff. That's when Sony kind of strike back with the whole, you want to share a game with your friend, just pass the disc to them and they can just pop it right in. Don basically said, well, just if you want to play without the internet, go the Xbox 360 route. So you're coming out with a new console and you're telling people to go in the route of an Xbox 360. Wow. Well done, sir. So stupid me. I get an Xbox One. And I'm giving you the whole backstory here because it's been up and down for me, up and down, up and down. And when I got the Xbox One, don't get me wrong, there were some bangers at the beginning. Forza 5 was awesome. I really enjoyed Rise, Son of Rome. I think that game, a little bit repetitive, but I really enjoyed the story and the combat was on point. After having the Xbox One for a very long time, I got an Xbox One X. That was a very powerful console, really enjoyed it. Now, the reason why I'm going through all these consoles is because I want to keep up with graphics, right? No, everybody wants to keep up with graphics. Graphics and frame rate, that's king right now. And in the transition to the One X, in between those two, I actually ended up getting a PS4 Pro. And I experienced some of the exclusives. I got a PS4 Pro pre-owned from GameStop, and I played Uncharted, A Thief's End. I didn't play any of the Uncharted's beforehand, nothing. I played that one game because it came with it from GameStop. And it was such a good experience, such a great game. Microsoft, I had been noticing, stopped making games completely. And in this process of not just trying to play video games, I'm also in the process of getting engaged to be married. And my wife wants to hang out with me. So for me, I want to be able to sit in my living room. We live in an apartment. It's not super big, but I want to be able to sit in the same room with her. Even if I'm playing a game and she's reading a book or something, or she's watching a TV show, I can just kind of play a game. What I'm noticing as I'm getting older, I want convenience. So I ended up getting a Nintendo Switch. It didn't quite scratch the itch for me because of the fact that it is missing a lot of third-party bangers. There's no Call of Duty on there. There's no Madden on there. Yeah, there's NBA. There's some games here and there. Don't get me wrong. Nintendo IPs are on another level, but I want to play the Call of Duties. I want to play the Maddens. I want to play the NHLs. I want to play these games on the Nintendo Switch that unfortunately aren't available. Fast forward, I discover PC gaming. And PC gaming kind of has me, I'm all bought in because I'm like, holy cow, I can buy a gaming laptop and I can basically place that gaming laptop anywhere I want. Well, with PC gaming, there are pros and cons, and you'll find out very quickly why I moved from PC gaming onward. I bought a gaming laptop and they always have trouble. I don't care what any reviewer says. I don't give a crap what anybody says. And I'm really sorry to say it like that, but like people are delusional if they think that a gaming laptop is going to be the answer for them. Number one, they're not portable. Okay. They're not portable because you can't play video games on the battery. And anybody who thinks that they can is fooling themselves. You need proper power that nobody talks about. You need something that can power it. Otherwise, you're going to nerf and kneecap your graphics card and your CPU. You're going to have no power to do anything. Okay? So when I watch videos from creators who will go unnamed that say, oh, I can play anywhere. Well, that's a lie. You can't. Okay? And when they're like, oh, I can play for hours. That's a lie. You can't. Okay? And not every creator is lying, but I don't think a lot of them really think about what they're saying. So me, who has a gaming laptop, in order for me to play it, I have to get a table. I can't play on my lap. It can't be on the carpet. It's got to be ventilated. I have to essentially hunch over a 15-inch screen and play for the sake of portability, quote unquote. Because, again, it's not really portable because it has to be plugged into power. Well, I started playing the latest Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. And that game was super buggy. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 was one of the buggiest games I'd ever played on the PC. And I don't know if you all are really noticing, there's a trend for bugginess on PC games. They are very buggy, to the point where I was talking to my friend yesterday on the phone, like, dude, what the heck happened to PC gaming? Because when I came in 2017 to PC gaming, it was not this buggy. I'm looking at some of these games that come out on PC, and I'm like, they're all stutter fests, all of them. Like, what the heck is going on? Right? I don't remember it being this bad when I started playing Modern Warfare 2, and it was essentially unplayable on PC for several weeks. I got dev error after dev error after dev error. It would crash in the middle of the campaign. I was frustrated. I called up my local Target, and mind you, I refused to get an Xbox. And the reason why I refused to buy an Xbox is because they don't make games. Okay, I'm sorry, this is a hot take here. Microsoft doesn't make games. They don't. Like, the games that they make are either few and far in between, or they're trash. I think Gears of War has become a very strange franchise. It's completely changed from its roots. It is not the same game. I'm not trying to shoot robots. I want to go after Locust, right? And I'm not saying that that's not what's happening in the game, and I don't want to blow the game for anybody if they haven't played it, but that franchise definitely took a little bit of a turn. Halo is Halo. I've never really got into Halo like I did with Gears of War. Forza Horizon series is fantastic, but that's pretty much it, okay? And if I'm triggering anybody, I'm sorry, but like, Microsoft has really lost a fan. And I would have bought an Xbox. I actually ended up buying one on Black Friday a couple weeks ago, but remote play is broken. And remember what I was saying a couple minutes ago. I want to be able to play remotely. I want to be able to sit in my living room and have the option to play remotely on my phone with a Backbone controller or something where I can slip my phone in there and make it like a Nintendo Switch and play on my Xbox. You can play with the Xbox if you're on the same network. It is broken if you try to use your own 5G cellular network, or if you happen to be at a friend's house, or, you know, if I'm going to my parents' house or my brother's house and I want to play on their Wi-Fi or my cellular network. It won't work because it's broken. Microsoft has refused to acknowledge it for several weeks, and they still haven't fixed it since iOS 16. So I'm like, you know what? I'm done with Microsoft. They don't make games, number one. And number two, they refuse to acknowledge that something's broken. I'm done with this company, period. So I went and I bought a PlayStation. And I love it. I love every single moment of it. The PlayStation is revolutionary. I'm sorry, not trying to sound like a Sony pony, not trying to sound like a fanboy. I just want to tell you guys about my whole process. So when I got rid of my gaming laptop because of all the stutters, and I'm like, forget this. So I returned it and I got myself a PlayStation. First of all, I experience no stutters, no lags, no glitches, nothing. Games are rock solid. Games are smooth. I'm playing on a 32-inch 1440p monitor that I bought for $250 from Micro Center. It's a high refresh rate 1440p monitor. It does every single thing I could ever ask for. And on top of everything else,
Remote Play works flawlessly. I'm going to do a video on the Backbone and Remote Play. I can give you guys kind of the cut and dry real quick. Essentially, when you play Remote Play on the PlayStation, what separates it from Microsoft, outside of it actually working, because Microsoft, again, it's broken with iOS 16. If you don't believe me, try it yourself. Try playing Remote Play on your Xbox, not on the same network as your house, and it will not work. Back to PlayStation. So what separates the PlayStation, though, is the fact that it adjusts the quality and the compression better than what Microsoft does. So when I would play Remote Play on my Xbox Series S, it wouldn't compress enough. What it would do is it would just stutter very hard. So with the PlayStation, it will actually compress. So you may get a stutter or a hitch, but it'll compress pretty well. So it'll drop the quality and it'll keep the FPS, the frame rate high, so that it's smooth and you can get lost in the game, right? So you're not really even thinking to myself, oh, I'm playing remotely. No, you're not. You almost feel like you're playing natively. That's number one, and that's if you're on Wi-Fi. Number two, and this is the big one here that Microsoft does not do, and nobody's talking about this, and I'll elaborate more on another video when I talk about the Backbone, but what the PlayStation does with Remote Play that's special with cellular is it has you pick what quality you want to run at. So the quality I run at is the second from the bottom. So it compresses, quite a bit. I'm probably playing at just under 720p or maybe 540p. And I'm playing on an iPhone 12 Pro Max, but I get letterboxing on the left and the right side of the iPhone because the iPhone's aspect ratio is not 16:9. So the screen itself is probably under 6 inches. So 540p at under 6 inches is more than enough for me. And it's like I'm playing natively on the phone. I get no stutters, no hitches, nothing. And I can be playing on LTE. And I play on the data saver mode, again, because I want to prioritize frame rate over visual quality if I'm playing cellular. If I'm playing on Wi-Fi, they don't give you the option. But it looks very crisp. It looks very good. PC didn't work for me because it's a little overly complex. I really didn't want to have to fiddle with something when I came home. I just want to sit down and play a video game. I wanted to go to Xbox, believe me. I have Game Pass. Actually, I have Game Pass Ultimate through 2024, February of 2024. So I would love to play Game Pass, but Microsoft doesn't make games. They don't care about making games, and I frankly don't believe them that they're going to make any games. Sony is really the only place to go because Microsoft gives you no incentive to want to buy a console. I'm sorry, Microsoft. I went from having a gaming laptop that runs hot, loud, and stutters all the time, and gaming laptops are not cheap, by the way, to having a PlayStation where I can remote into it from my MacBook, I can remote into it from my phone, I can remote into it from pretty much anything. And it works so well. Microsoft, I really hope you take notice. Fix your stuff. Do a good job at making games, and maybe I'll come back to you guys. I tell my friend all the time, he's like, oh, when are you ever going to come back to Xbox? I'm like, I'll come back when they give me a reason to come back. Sorry if I sound mad, but it just annoyed me because I've been with Microsoft my whole life. That's why I gave you guys the whole console story. Microsoft has been my main console for everything. Even when I was on PC, I bought a ton of games from Microsoft to play on my PC. And I have to say, having a Sony experience with the haptic feedback of the controllers, with the graphical quality that I'm getting from the PlayStation. Now, I get it. With the Xbox Series X, you're going to get the same graphical quality, albeit maybe even better in some games because it's technically more powerful. But it's not necessarily about that. Give me a good next-gen experience and I will come to you. If you don't, I don't know. I don't recommend an Xbox to anybody unless they are a casual gamer, want to spend almost no money, then go get a Series S. But if you care about playing games, even just a little bit, go get yourself a PS5. You will not regret it. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed watching some Fortnite footage and hearing me ramble. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.